we can say it's more kind of general instruction, but very much needed for the generation of altruistic mind. And now from here onwards starts the actual kind of the content, the topic of this textbook, and talking about the practice of altruism and how it is important, and what are the technique and methods, and how can you transform problems or negative factors, conditions into a positive one. So it will come kind of a later part of the text. To get interest in the or aspired, or to get encouraged in the practice of altruistic mind, it is important to kind of if you're interested in the studying and reading the first chapter of the Shantideva's book, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. It's all about the benefits of altruistic mind or awakening mind.
장주 semhikini gajigi crossondoe nyamdan veshi namgi sejil bai jiten lamin ki bi chaji kyurse sungre tati pain jik sungware ani 장주기 sem kichi sam yule kebada rangi 장주 sepa chayada ani jiten be lada mi ani chajo isukuwa gyawe sengirwa gyawe tukise gyawe gombala kareore 맞죠? 상기 좀 된데 차세기 거래 상기 좀 된데 때받지 거래 상기 좀 된데 이치지 거래 나랑 저 릉아기 니제데 저바데 따다 좀 된다 깝질러도 지 거래 대모 직 삼단나 라토야래 이 뭐만 라토야래 삼단나 간데스 깝질러 거래 좀 된데라 sem전 탐제 라페 펜바투야마도 Gombayo bare. Masu samlo nala arhanchinze wando chinza niring jene. Arhanchola cha jinchola dang. Eni semjela pembatu yala kandisi nozike kandisi tela nesempama kandisi tela kondusin yagi tablamji tseyondugala jawe gombadang galwari. Cha segi orte jechide gangal jeni dedugala te sempame ni sujingoma chagore.
In the first chapter of the Shantideva's book, The Benefits of Awakening Mind or Altruistic Mind, you'll find a whole list of what are the benefits, including right at the moment when you generate altruistic mind, you are called the Bodhisattvas, the noble beings, and noble being, and you become the object of veneration by other human fellows and other deities and gods, and you are considered as the son of the Buddhas or victorious one. And so you are in fact engaging, in the teachings of Buddhas in a very kind of correct sense. In our ordinary kind of way of life, although we look up to enlightened beings and we pray and we show faith and respect and try to follow their instructions and teachings, but when we look at our behavior, actions that we do, quite often we see kind of complete contradiction. When you look at the Buddha's teaching, the only kind of thought that Buddha possesses, if we say, is kind of for the sake of other sentient beings, and how can one benefit other sentient beings. But when we look at our own ways of thinking, mindset, thought, and actions, it's very much under the power of self-cherishing thought. And out of that self-cherishing thought, whatever we do, it's very kind of biased action. Attachment towards people that we care, we like, we are close to, and sense of hatred, distance towards people that we dislike. So we are very much kind of doing something that is exactly opposite to what Buddha has been teaching.
What did it? Any mazu kang nyan lobjon je tenju den zan jungde any shichu kyang pe kalke duche members of the chigi ore. They norre. 디 루체 시주 장바 말에 시주 중도 될니 제하고 하래 시주 중도 될 수디가라 가르고 배전에 셰샤데 사무다 사무다 애니 사무다베 tum데들라 꼼디랩에 tum데들라 랑 녜제디 gyurche tanga kachare. Tindijin gyurche tanga tukuyana, kanji nyeche dugade zangpe chola tsu, ka gyur tukuyana, ta shetu zungdun rewe, nyamlin chebe, kopate tunguare, temado, kabore.
And on top of that, although we are engaged in studying, in understanding these texts and scriptures, but what we do is we kind of leave that to merely kind of intellectual understanding. And we didn't take that to what we called something that needs to be implemented. So, we leave this gap between what we study and what we do, and there's a big gap between what we do and what we study. And in fact, in actual practice, what we are supposed to be doing is whatever we studied, learn in this, scriptures of text, it should be implemented in our day-to-day life. However, we don't do that, and so that is important here in kind of to get benefit from what we are learning, and so in the process we start from learning, studying, and whatever we studied and learn. We take that to what we call contemplation, basically making your mind familiar with the concepts that you learn from these texts and scriptures. And as you get more familiar with the concepts that you are learning, you need to bring that kind of familiarity into kind of practice in your own thought and in your own action. And therefore that will bring a transformation in how you do physically, verbally, mentally. And through that comes the transformation of engaging more in positive activities, which we usually don't do much in kind of in prior moments. So therefore it is kind of important to kind of really combine what we study intellectually and what we should be kind of doing in our day-to-day life.
Wadati gumbu chambagi ngundogena semke pani jindunchir yangda zobe chanjunde sedatati 누만일랭 셈데 땅은 장주기 셈을 못해 세대 오네 중화 공바 디시 중이나 이니 직 란신 좀 타다 또 두야기 이게 셈 사천보데 오다 던지는 건지 지금 누만일랭 셈질라 아니 대야 딜라니 셰바게인데 예나나라 가르송거래 니지 셈질 means 다 아니 셔럽게 장줄름이 세디가 윤둠바다 또 눈바들라 눈바니데 아라 유진데 등에 눈베 장신인데 눈바지 또 에이 장주 톰데긴 눈바세데 다 셔럽데 아니 상기기 살람이야데 디니가 가르땡 거르잖아 돈담 생계잖아면도 돈이 대당 군소 생계 애니페 진등 쿠르드케비 something 진동 쿨게위 something 뒤념도 냠도 중도는데 내가 제 냠는 제 대시고래 대니가라 니지 섬전람이 시도 섬진기 동안 좀 되길래 이 로테 깨니 디 깨니 아니 자주기 셈 군소 생기데 귤레케고 와래 디 진동 랍첨부 저와라 상기 고방면나 마톱나 두투야 균이요 말에 딘디 니가라 상기 고방 툭기 여태 매대 셔럽길 따니 아니 섬전 탐제라 유리기 켜봐요 봐대 또 아니 디바데 루브르와 임바 제로 임바 하과지 중나 아니 정렬제야라 도와체 용거래 딘디가라 예나송야 돼 오네 경그럼 제안도 숭도아 nga선지 미탈절지데 하고 말대 경그럼 nem보좀 숭도아 니제 심전레미 아니 셔럽기 장초로 미시야는 눈바땡이 숭두를 냠는 지야데 탑시 숭들 전 냠제 다 성게 코나 무엇에나미도 생이세는 디니 되는 거래 세 숭도와 어떤 띵오네 개침으로 오네 네 시행과 지도 수업지 하고 주는 야버레스.
Altruistic mind or awakening mind, Bodhisattva, in the Maitriya's ornament path, he defined this altruistic mind having two kind of aspiration. So these two aspiration. The first one is for the sake of other sentient beings and benefiting them, basically engaging in the benefits of other sentient beings. The second is attaining of enlightenment for yourself, and these are the two aspirations or two components of the altruistic mind. And and we can say that the root cause of the altruistic mind is this thought of benefiting others, and then the accompanying factor is attaining of enlightenment. And further kind of explanation in the text ornament appearance, it says that again referring to these two aspiration, compassionate thought, which is thought of benefiting others, the objective of that the object of observation of that thought is other sentient beings, while wisdom or intelligence aims at the attaining of enlightenment. So we see here this kind of dual, existence of compassion and wisdom, and these two are something that must be implemented or practiced together all the time. And this also, another way of understanding is the understanding of the, the conventional altruistic mind and ultimate altruistic mind. So to benefit other sentient beings, as said earlier, it's just this is done by generation of compassionate thought, and whether you are capable of and in order to do that completely, one must attain the enlightenment, and whether you can attain enlightenment or liberation or not. Here comes the importance of this wisdom or intelligence, able to really kind of investigate from its very fundamental level whether we have this what we call Buddha nature or not. Can we eliminate afflictions from our nature of the mind or not? So these are something that are important to kind of have some understanding before going on to the this text further.
오다 두시는 성경 모습이 두디시나 데리시레스 다 연라 예와 가르나 예와다 다 예술 가시여 뭐건 예와 디시나 아니 람드나라 설부도와 로르도 던 로이 제다지 더셔버자 대신 개반 닝이기 제다든지 셔버자 세대 상이 고방라 런데기로들라 만섬 런도 좀 많이 번 로에 자발해 주봐 친구 냠는지는 로에 자발을 주신 받으라 죽셈 세대 다 뭔주그 셈딩이 시작게 좀 자고 그래 뭐여고니 나등이 우두스 자고 그래.
And that is sort of the nature of the altruistic mind. And when we look at the different forms or types, there are many different ways of categorizing the types of altruistic mind, and one that we find in the Adisha's text, lamp, path, illumination to path, lamp to the path of illumination, categorized from the perspective of nature of the altruistic mind into two: aspiring altruistic mind and engaging altruistic mind. Aspiring altruistic mind, in the words, we see the metaphor of thought of going or plan of going, and engaging altruistic mind as actually engaging in the act of making a journey or going. So one is kind of thought level, while other is actually implementation of that thought.
오다 배자 단 네가 원한다 라는 수도면은 닉송도 예 삼바 장수 샘께 봐스 다들 뭐마 네 시디 빈 숭도 토메티네 달라 자와진 만남 돈네 라디 지지자 디지타에 섬전 달지 장주 샘께 갈셀 알린 대수는도 어떻게 뭐네 나랑서 람림니 윤데 맹아딘 시디가라 담보 마르시바 세디 하고 그러가 마르시 틴틴틴서 이용 그 잠바니 배 두발라서 두바스인께서 니제 락섬 생브로 왔다 되게 삼다나 왔다 디치디네 숨겨다 딱 땡겨지 과시 랩투에 요래 디 섬로지 마다나 토메트네 달라 잡아진 세야데 과자 하고 싶으래 왔다 디수 삼당 거래 랑게 키와라 도만베 바시 삼당 마메비 주히니 마란주 자절 테니 뉴몽 지원군인가 주히가 거네요 말에 마실 땐 것이 깨고 땐도 갈았다 기완 제네 왕기 뭐 마셔봤어 말해봐도 나랑 좀 도와 세절로 좁은 인생에 애니페 로 파르좀 가르치잖아 애니페 루기 넘길기 기른도 그라 좁은 예보지나 세절로 좁은 예보는 진줄라 몸이 셔 차로 도와 이 기완 제네 인간은 때는 뭐 마셔 차가로 와 뭐 마시나 애니페 마르제 라비아 랍스티야 대가랑 영어 뚝뚝 뭐야 무슨도 뚝뚝이야 또 어다 되게 삼다니 아니 도메드네 달라 잡아친 세야되기 어다 고와데 랭고와 ng아병원에 샘께도 삼다니나 오늘 벤더요래 이 람림로 두스체네 어다 두스 공부제 거래스 오늘 티디게 배 만남 돈에 나한테 지지자송도 아니 샘전 담제 라나 띵기 캬베 아니 배 마데 둥알 풍기 주네 라 대완도나 가르쳐 그랬어. 가르친도 가르쳐 순고하러 와.
Verse 10. First, let me read the direct word-to-word translation. When your mothers, who have loved you since time without beginning, are suffering, what use is your own happiness? Therefore, to free limitless living beings, develop the altruistic attitude. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. This is the word-to-word translation and the translation of the text that we have. In each incarnation, through all of our lives, we have been cared for by others with motherly love. While these mothers of ours are still lost in samsara, how cruel to ignore them and free but ourselves. To save other beings, though countless in number, to free from their sorrow, these mothers of old produced bodhicitta, the wish to Buddha. The sons of bodhisattvas all practice this way. When you look at the Lamrim text, stages of the path, you will see from the true technique of generating altruistic mind, the first one being sevenfold cause and effect, beginning with realizing all sentient beings as one's mother, and then remembering kindness, repaying kindness. So those 7 precepts, and when you have that good understanding of 7 precepts, then just saying the first word, when your mother, who have loved you since time without beginning, are suffering, what is your own happiness? Then with having that understanding, when you read this, then it will make sense what it's saying here. And again, here we see kind of really this concept of recognizing and understanding all other sentient beings as one's mother. This has to very kind of start from very, you can say, your own self. This kind of question. When you look at your own self, your conscious, or you can say your own cycle of rebirth. When did it started? Your own existence. In Buddhist understanding, there's it's beginningless. You cannot trace back. And obviously, we are not what we call taking a birth from miraculous birth. We didn't come out spontaneously. There must be kind of cause, seed, factors that make us come into existence. So that birth from womb like us, there has to be a mother from whom we have taken a birth, and you use this kind of fundamental kind of logical understanding, and Buddhist perspective here is that simply that we are not, because we have taken so many rebirth that it's like, because of the gap of the time, the distances that between us, we simply don't recognize each other. Otherwise, we are all sort of related, And this happens within one's one's own lifetime. There are people or mother who in your, previous lifetime, very close, and then later not seeing each other for a while, then later you meet again, and then kind of recognizing, oh, you are this person, and then, so because of the time gap and not understanding, and through our own experiences, and using many different logic and understanding, we come to this understanding that, all sentient beings as one's mother. And so this question is a very kind of important question for that kind of practitioners who recognize all sentient beings as one's mother, and then, however, kind of really out of carelessness, doing just for oneself and not kind of doing benefit for others. And so therefore this question becomes kind of really important, yet heavy question. When your mothers, from the beginningless time and suffering, what is the purpose of seeking your own happiness and totally kind of neglecting, others?
교환 돌링 ngoma shiba yimbata sebure isirwa ta ngaranzu chache ngoshi jengi nda chomba ani satumbalene be chanchu seba ngoni ngoshi ta mandeginji ziyondu gala be gumushore ayore ani pasha saji maladu langbenrao pangdu kursa ngoni chage ware ngoye ni 좀 야갈 파비유라 아니 라좀바 존을 페니 아니 디치디가라 아니 라좀바데 파기 김바지기 샤자기 아래 아니 키들라 둥구 아래 아니 부지 방데 케니 두스치기 아래 아니 라좀바테 지당 모시기 지다 겨왕같이 캥기어서 모시기 지소래 지디 공 제모제래 아니 겨 가라고 뭐 기도스베 아니 좀 라좀바테기 파샤자지 만에도 पावादे शी लूजी के लूजी से दे शाजा के वाले पावा क्या दी पावा से शी देता क्या चमा लूली के हम देखा दे शादे सकिंदे यानी आमादे शी नी की देते शादों देते तेलतनी सुयों देखा ला यानी पे की दिल दूंगे वाले ता से ला 파마당인 또 주주주주엔 내디가라 다쟁인데 시드랑 부기리 그래 말한도 답해 말이 풀고 나라 취디어 인상 다 시기어 말와 어떻든지 뭐시 영의 질타디가라 차지도 뭐 고물라야 우리 차디어래 어떻든지 차디어래 백 림바케 미도아 델레 심전 담제 말 따샤이네 년도 따네 년 털도데 말이 딜 말 따시나 셈나 링동도 영화에 매가 땡땡 차에도 어다 두스레도 고바 디 고바디 이네 아니 좀 답에 좀 되니 니니 저 단다 봐도 럼 유베 라마토다 아니 마르겐 삼전 삼제 세야들라 베 미시원 니바요 개체 개탐바요레 딜 니바요 인 나신지 단다 봐도 숨긴 자기나도 좀 중요해서 엔디가 자샤나스
we will stop after this. So as said earlier, from Buddhist perspective, we are like taking many rebirths, and then it's like we are not knowing each another because of whatever reason, or maybe time, different conditions and factors. We are simply not recognizing each another, and to the eyes of what we call Four Destroyer, those who have attained, Aryas, or those who are noble beings, those who can see the past karmic connection. When they look at the life of ordinary people like us, sometimes it becomes kind of object of laughter to them. They just laugh at us, how we behave. And we have said this story before. One of the Four Destroyer, when he looked at the family, father of the family, he was eating of meat, and he was kicking a dog, which is kind of begging for the flesh or bone, and then he was holding a baby, taking care of the baby, And that for destroyer was laughing, and somebody asked him why you are laughing, and then he kind of told the kind of past story that a person who is eating of flesh of meat of the a sheep. That sheep used to be in the past his father, and then his mother was reborn as a dog, which is begging dearly his own enemy in his lap. So eating one's father's flesh and then kicking one's mother, but holding dearly one's enemy in one's lap. This is the nature of samsara, and he came up with this kind of and then it's a kind of matter of laughing for those who truly knows the how we sort of exist in samsara. So under the influence of afflictions or misconceptual thoughts or not knowing, we are engaged in this kind of activities, and so it would be far kind of beneficial, better for us if you look at other sentient beings, and then look at others with the attitude of very closeness, kind of if not mother, but the mother is considered as the highest form of the relationship, the closest. So if not mother, at least kind of kind of relatives, something that you are close to, and with that kind of attitude, there are a whole lot of benefits for yourself as well as for others, and there is a kind of very good reason why we see this kind of tradition or technique, beginning with all other sentient beings as recognizing all other sentient beings as one's mother, and this we see in the technique of generating altruistic mind, and also very kind of common expression in Tibetan Buddhist literature or scriptures. Mother-like sentient beings is very common expression that is used often and so commonly, a well-known expression, and it has its own reason why this expression is used, mother-like sentient beings, and that kind of tradition still exists, and therefore kind of it has its very meaning or significance.
Sholoka Junini Ma Di on the Gala, Ta Lamkertes Carso Dao Lamkerda, Indian Lamkerda, Lamkerman Bujorda, Suzu Napa Chigina, Di Napa the Nelim Majalecene, any Susu Samlotane, any pay, Di Revechola Catraya, what up a tea Pagin Napa King, Susu Lam Kertuya, what a Tezu Sungore. There's only similar Pemboy Hungry. Some nimbush than the Coacharma, the candidate some summer. Young Miss Mare, Maranzo, as Anjin Shumbore. And some Nembo, Tanatini Chick Carsore. Chinta Dupa Gudi Getiana, Cotrona, the Renatral City, Lurdora. What a taste on the Chini. The real Coachari, City, Semna Pemboy Hungry. Tizo, Yanni Yang to law. Any samlotang dus chegina mone penda yongri chanju ki sem tembe jung tigete chik mone ta midabe tembe jung sone je any teni chaya mare ta ti chanju ki sem tembe jung de mone seminala chik diche vaina chik mandal kyaji dusi kyamgrom sungdo any chanju ki sem de 다 진짜 라고메야이나 근데 라라 라라들이 사방만 두나라 타디가 저기 있어 나 이지라도 아 마셔 두세데 다음 숨도 어다디 뭐니 경고는 뭐지 온바 랍첨보레 경고는 뭐지 잘담 배 미스벌링보레 되게 담가데 어다 지 랑게 가서 tuttu지 않아서 삼다이나 페나 인 랍첨보 용거래 아니 니조 전주의 파인 중도서다 아니 니조
transforming into path whatever kind of a negative or obstacles that you encounter, transforming distressing events into path. So when you encounter harm from others, when you meet people that you dislike, hate, through your kind of practice, you can transform into something positive. You can make those, transform into paths, so you can gain further spiritual realizations and understanding. So they are, going through each of these practices. You might have, if you are kind of beginning and new, you might have a kind of doubt how is this going to work. But spending more time kind of understanding more deeper, you will see how beneficial each of these practices are to your mind or to your thought. And practice of altruistic mind and likewise practice of compassion, these are something that, unlike, as His Holiness often advised, unlike meditation of deity or these practices are something that doesn't require any kind of conditions. You can visualize, meditate, contemplate anytime, anywhere, and following his kind of this kind of instruction and his wishes would be really beneficial for oneself. And more kind of doing in a ritual kind of practice, you can use the refuge prayer, reciting 3 times in daytime, 3 times at night time, and then kind of contemplating on the meaning and the benefits of altruism. And with that, it could become kind of your practice and can have a great benefit. And along with that, reading the more about the benefits and how you can implement altruistic mind in these short texts, as well as the Shantideva's text guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life.
전주 파인데서 삼 로트위나 수소 뽑았기 그래서 sem나 떠난게 뽑았게나 리된 탕으로 보아. That means 떠나 좋아게 게이나 가지고 좋아게나 포발레게 포발레비스리 직 덩이를 용 거라데 벤도 된대요 섬거도스.
And reading, the benefits of altruistic mind, for example, the first chapter of Shantideva's book will give you immense kind of, interest, encouragement, and with that kind of interest and encouragement, it will give you kind of, a desire or wishes to go further into the practice. Any questions?
Do monks and nuns debate Vinaya?
잡아다 주막이 니콜라 두 팀콜 잡아서 거래서
저ပတ်그래 전들에 야 강을래는 마도 야 잡아사왔는데 지금 말아서 회시당 근zam났더니 진짜 괜찮된 고마이나 또 누가디 타마도 차고 와래 저나는 로니 그저 바래 내 것이 마다버도 군데나 로망부터 구고 와래.
Yes, they do, but not at the beginning. These debate on Vinaya, for example, in Gomang tradition, it is done at the kind of last or highest level of Geshe degree, and they do debate for 2 years. And if you don't finish your Geshe degree on time, then it takes still many more years. Any other questions, thoughts, or comments? Yes, Mark.
Okay.
Kari rawe korwe shingam der pendan dewa mole jongwe ne jere zingwa tenzin gyatso in shabe sede bado denjo je jambu kowe chidara kemba kondo zangbo de ande jendo deda gungen jeso ndalo jengewa deda tamje rabdo ngo te sum shabe njawa tamje Ngowa kanla chodo ngakpa den dajin gebe tsawa de kunja sangpo chuchi rabdo ngowa raike. In the line encircled by snow-white mountains, the source of all happiness and benefits, falls a new person, generously attention jars of remaining little samsara ends. Just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri attained omniscience and Samantabhata too, so now I do dedicate these minutes to train and follow in their footsteps. As all the victorious Buddhas of past, present and future praise dedication to Supreme, so now I do dedicate these sources of my merit for all beings to perfect good action.